This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Welcome back, everyone. So I was talking to a dog trainer yesterday. By the way, this podcast has nothing to do with dogs, at least as far as I know. But I asked this question. I said, can you teach an old dog new tricks? And he looked at me and said, absolutely. So that's the starting point here. That dog may be a human, maybe you. Doesn't matter what age. We're going to talk about unleashing your brilliance at any age. What's inside of you? What can you achieve? There are no boundaries, and we're going to show you why. She is an amazing transformational life coach and our professional of the year with so much insight. Donna is back on the program. How are you doing today?
Great. I'm so glad to be back. How is everyone?
Doing well here. Hope everybody else is. Year off to a new start. This is a perfect topic for a new year. You know,
Yeah.
as many of us look at maybe where we want to go, maybe setting some goals. Don't want to call them resolutions, just we'll call them goals. I'm so on the page of this at any age. And
Yeah.
I'm feeling it personally, even in the last year and a half. I'm just getting started. And I've been around a while. I'm just getting started. I have so many like different projects I'm doing, relationships, meetings, things like that. Where is it going to go? I have no blanket idea. I don't know. Maybe something, throw it up against the wall and it sticks, but I strategically throw the things up against the wall. I don't just waste time. But it's kind of exciting when you look at that. So I'm loving this topic today. You had a full title to this podcast. What was it?
The full title was The Science and Soul of Radical Reinvention, and then Unleashing Your Brilliance at Any Age.
So is there science behind this?
Yeah, the science part of it is the neuroplasticity where there's no deadline. It's kind of where you're clearly, explaining that your brain never loses its power to change, but so many of us forget about that. It's like some Harvard researchers, because I was looking into this, found that when older adults like learn to a new skill of like painting or juggling or
Sure.
like some type of sport or something like that, their brains actually light up with new growth. So it's not that you're too old, it's that you're just warming up, as you were giving perfect examples of prior at the beginning of the segment. It's like that warm-up feel.
It's amazing once you start doing something different, maybe a little out of your comfort zone, how it's like the proverbial rock or the snowball at the top of the hill. It starts going. And it's not about me, but I can give examples of what this is. I mess around with AI. I'm getting deeper and deeper into it.
Mhm.
And fantastic, loving it. But I look back at like even a month ago and I'll say, well, wow, I didn't even realize that I could get that deep into it, just learning what's available. But my point here is once you start getting your mind in the mode of absorbing and working a little differently, it's fun. Like it's
Yeah.
like, and it starts coming easy. That's what I'm trying to say. It starts coming easy.
Yeah, it's kind of like think about kids when they learn a new skill. It's something that they've never experienced before, but now they're getting their hands in it or, hearing it or whatever senses are used. And you can see that excitement in them,
Yeah.
and it's like that exists in all of us throughout our entire lifetime. It just gets lost
Yep.
because you kind of get stuck in that societal thought frame. Like, I've worked so hard to get to this point. There's no way I can start, something new. Or there's some people that get led into a certain career right? But because they said this will make me financially secure. But it never was a passion of theirs. And as they get older, that passion of, let's say music or some type of arts or something where people are like, you'll never make money at that, starts to ache more and it starts
Mm.
to come up. And that's when they start going, could I switch now? Is it smart to switch now? And that's where you take that leap when you have that light.
It's so true. And what's holding us back? I get the society thing. I get that we need to support ourselves, make money. I have that. And that's not to say the things that you may be thinking of can't make money
Mhm.
and support you, but why don't we all do this? What do you think's holding us back?
Because we almost see it as humans, we see it as like the window of possibility is closing. It's now locked out by the should haves or the birthdays, that have passed, or, if a friend, that, is getting ready to hear about, the blowout, the hinges off the door, your potential doesn't have an expiration date. And that's the mindset that people have to overcome is
Mm.
that, in fact, your best chapter might not have even been written yet. So, it's just getting out of that mindset of this is it and into there's so much more and I'm meant for so much more, and not holding yourself back from experiencing it or taking that leap of faith or that risk to, dive into what you're meant to do or where you're meant to be.
You are reading my mind because I was just going to ask, is this about your purpose? Should you, like you just said, what you're destined to do, should you first define your purpose in life, whatever that may be? And it is my belief that we all have a purpose. We were given from whoever you want to say gave it to us,
Mhm.
certain talents and skills to help others. Now, that doesn't mean you don't get compensated for that. You can, but it's in us. But so many of us aren't really sure what our purpose is. Do you think that that is a starting point? Like, even if you're, halfway through your life, search your soul a little bit and then define what is my purpose? What am I living it now? And yes, you can be living it, but everything you do should lead up to your purpose. What are your thoughts?
So, as far as the purpose, I think it has a huge part to do with it. But I also think some people get a little bit that word fear when they think of having to discover their purpose. The thing is that you don't have to discover your purpose. You have to reunite with your purpose because you were born with it. So it's kind of like befriending your purpose. And that's what you do through life with all your experiences, all the different connections, all the different careers that you have, all the, different travel things, everything that you do in your life leads up to you getting closer to that. And when you start to get that burning desire, when you kind of feel like you're a little bit stuck, that's a growth moment. And that's where
Mm.
you're kind of longing and your disconnect is kind of like, hello, like, there's more out there, like when you were a kid, what was that thing that excited you so much? Does it still excite you or is there something else? So that's where that moment of transformation happens and that kind of click. And so many will get stuck in the fear and stay exactly where they are instead of using it as a growth moment and looking into why they feel stuck and like what really, lights them up, by going out and trying new things, like everyone has friends, everyone has family. But sometimes your friends and your family don't share the same interests as you. Go out, go join a group, join a sports team or join some type of club with like-minded people and see what happens. See if that really is something that lights you up or if it was just an idea that it could, like get out
Totally.
there.
Yeah, you're right on all points, as always. And it was I share with you. It's coming up on next month. Will be 2 years when I joined a men's group. I was wondering, did I join a cult? What the hell did I do? No, it wasn't. It You know what? We had a meeting last night. You know what we were talking about?
What?
This. We
Wow.
were talking about our purpose, and a lot of new men have joined the group. So it's, kind of figuring it all out with them. And I want to illustrate what you just said, how all roads are leading there. So I was 22, and before that, I got involved in making little videos and things like that in high school. And that was a turning point for me. I was the fat kid that got bullied. So I was so into what I was doing. I didn't have time to eat, lost a lot of weight, did my thing, got a job in radio, which was great. It was, a big job at a very young age. And then my dad passed away, and I
Oh,
got a couple of bucks and I bought video equipment. So me and a friend, actually the friend from high school, would go out and shoot some video. And there's a fire. I go shoot the fire and I give the tape to TV station. They would use the footage, get a couple of $100, whatever. He did that for a year or so and sold the video equipment. I was like, that was cool. Learned a lot. Fast forward, let's see, that would be about 20 years after that, open a marketing company, and all that stuff that I learned back in the day, even when I was a kid, I wanted to be a cartoonist. All of those things, the graphics, the art, the video, editing, blah, 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 all of that, I'm using it and have been for quite a number of years now. So to your point, all that stuff that I thought, what am I going to do with this video equipment? I learned. It was like a pain to go to school, but that's how this all works. You never know where it's going to lead you. Be open to it.
exactly. So like that's why I said, and you learn, as you were saying, all new like skills along the way. And you might not even recognize that you're learning certain skills until like later in life, And even for me, like I've had a couple different careers. And you would think, how do they kind of link? But in the end, they all do. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And it all ends up with helping people, leading people,
Yep.
and bringing like new creations, new ideas, new innovations into different companies and brains. But it's always, and they all kind of let in, and I always ended up being some type of supervisor or leader no matter where I was. And without realizing it, even though they were different industries, I picked up on all different skill sets that helped the next one. And it just keeps funneling that way. So you got to realize, even if something doesn't seem right or it seemed like a waste of time, look back at it. I bet it wasn't.
That's a great point. Many of us don't look at those things. Like, you really got to write them down too, because you
Yeah.
can't process when your brain is trying to think of this, that, and the
Mm-mm.
other. Now, you have a passion for baking, you told
Hmm.
us.
Yep.
And did you love baking when you were much younger?
Yes. That
Mm.
was my like thing when I was a kid. I remember when I was 8, I was finally allowed to kind of, use the stove, without my mom without her completely opening it or my grandma or whatever. And ever since then, I mean, I started off with those simple, cake pans that had like the characters and then you could like
Sure.
copy the image. And so it started with box cakes and it just kept growing. And as I got older, the way I challenged myself and learned how to learn new things without going to school for it was birthday desserts because I love celebrating everyone's birthday. That was always something that was very special to me. So I would always ask my family and friends, what's one thing that you would really like for your birthday? And it could be anything, a pastry, a cookie, or whatever. And that's how I grew with learning how to bake so many different things. And it just kept growing like a snowball effect with that throughout
You
life.
you just reminded me of something that I had a major realization in the past few months. And you said you were 8 and the baking
Hmm.
was your thing. So back then, when I was about that age, I was drawing cartoons. I wanted to be a syndicated cartoonist.
That's awesome.
And yeah, I also wanted to do radio, but the cartooning thing, but I couldn't do the radio then. But then I started learning electronics and built equipment, and that's eventually how I got a job. But the The realization I had was the cartooning, and then eventually a couple of years after that, kind of figuring out radio, building little transmitters, that it would go 500 feet, then we go, 500 yards. And we just, you know what that was for me back then as a kid? This is my realization.
What?
My parents got divorced. I was barely born. They were getting divorced. Um, Bullied as the fat kid. Yeah, all of that stuff. That was my therapy.
Mm-hmm.
That was my therapy. And I
Yep.
didn't realize it when I was sitting in the basement, by myself drawing cartoons. And that's what that was.
Yep.
I didn't realize it. I guess I'm, in front of a microphone. Am I in therapy right now? I guess I don't know. I don't know.
That's what baking always was for me too. It was the
Mm.
one thing that I could do that I could like rechannel my energy and ground myself. I blast some music and just get lost in creating. And I wouldn't always follow recipes. It got to the point where I created my own. So it's kind of like drawing your own cartoon. And that's how my bake shop came about, where I have a whole bunch of recipes that are just for me. Learning the true chemistry of baking and helping people, which I didn't know at the time, that I was going to benefit from, of people that have food allergies that can't enjoy baked goods. So I didn't only
Wow.
learn how to do gluten-free or vegan or dairy-free or like the basics. I learned people would travel from all over to come to the shop, and they would give me a list of their allergies, and I would create them a dessert. And it could be not allergies, it could be like, some
Sensitivity,
weird,
whatever,
yeah,
right?
any sensitivity. And seeing people come and like taste something and they'd be like, I haven't had a dessert for like 20 years. And just to see the
Wow.
emotion through it, that's where my heart became, was in baking. And then I ended up getting sick, and now I, benefit from it. And I still do baking on the side for a lot of my customers because they can't find anyone to, that meets their allergy needs, especially their kids. That's where it's really sad. Their kid never gets anything because they can't eat it. So it's a blessing.
Oh my gosh. Like that feeling of knowing somebody's had a sweet treat dessert for the first time in years.
Yeah.
That just, I can't even put it into words what that must feel like.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's
Mm.
where my heart comes from with the baking. It's not so much just the actual art of it. It's having people, seeing that happiness or that, sense of joy that comes, whether it comes with a celebration or something that they couldn't have eaten forever or anything like that, or just seeing their creation come alive, by them telling me and me putting it together.
Something you identified here that we really need to put the spotlight on is that doing these things, whether it's your purpose, your passion, your job, whatever it might be, many times you benefit from it. Now, you just said you started young, loved
Mhm.
baking, then started doing it, as a profession, if you will, and for helping people that couldn't eat certain things. Then it supported you. I relate in this because I started doing this basically when I needed it,
Yeah.
talking to people like you. I wasn't kidding about therapy all day long.
Yeah.
It changed my life, opened my eyes up to shadow work, the subconscious, personal development. I don't go to a therapist saying, you know why? Because I do this. And this is, but we get the word out about it. But there was a takeaway for me as there was for you. But if you went back 10 years, you couldn't have scripted this. We would have
Oh,
known that this would be going on or how it would work like that.
definitely not,
Crazy,
So
right?
it's amazing, but that's why everything connects, and
Everything connects.
there is no wasted time, it's just being able to see the beauty and the lesson or the growth opportunity and everything that comes your way.
I just wrote down everything connects because there's a reason, there's something there that you said that, and it was like, um, we're both into music. I'm going to share lyrics from a song that encapsulates what we're talking about. And I was away. I think I shared it when I went on my little Steve retreat, and this song just kept coming up. And I don't want to use that phrase because everybody uses it. Things happen for a reason. But the song stuck in my head, and it says what we're talking about here. Song is so old school. Eric Clapton. I'm talking like mid 70s, and it's called Let It Grow. And I was
Oh,
staring at the beach, and this song came on. So I played it again, and I played it again, and I played it again. The next day, did the same thing. Standing at the crossroads, trying to read the signs to tell me which way I should go, to find the answer. And all the time I know, plant your love and let it grow.
oh, yeah.
So plant your love. Let's look at that for a minute. Yes, we can look at that loving relationships. What about if you planted your love for something, baking, art,
Mhm.
whatever it might be? Plant that and see if it will grow. And I bet you because it comes from the heart, love, it
Yes.
will. It will because you planted it in an oven baking back in the day and
Yep.
supported others and it supported you and so many other people. And it's like, we talk about you get to a certain age and like, oh, well, I can't do anything different. Standing at the crossroads, trying to read the signs. The
Yep.
signs may be right in front of you. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I can do this. Yes, you can.
Yep.
Yes, you can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're always there. And that's beautiful. It's like, and you have to remember when you plant those seeds, you have to nurture them in order for them to grow,
Yeah.
so you can't just kind of plant it and walk away.
True.
you
True.
know but when you do plant those seeds and you feel that light, it just kind of becomes second nature. It's not even a thought, you just keep going.
It's the way it was supposed to be.
Exactly.
Mm. What have we not talked about? Last couple of minutes here today. Any thoughts going through your mind?
So, I mean, I guess, the kind of note that I would add for today is just remember your story is far from finished, and the next sentence that you write or the next step you take is the most important of all. Remember, age isn't an anchor. It's your superpower. So we can, let's, start building our next chapters together this year, and see what life has in for store. It's
Mm.
exciting. So
I'm going to steal a lyric from another song. This is from the 80s. It's Elvis Costello. And I'm just going to use the title of the song. Every day I write the book. Every day you're writing your own book of your life and finishing that chapter and on to the next chapter
Yep,
every day.
exactly.
But we don't
Exactly.
see it. We don't see it. And maybe if you sit down and write it down, physically write it down,
Yep.
you might even see some of those connections, how everything connects in some way and form.
Exactly. And part of it is, learning your story and actually, sitting back and, kind of reviewing it. And because so many people, they just go by. It's like, if you're in like a subway, it's just racing, you don't take time to reflect. A lot of people, hold on to the good memories and they hold on to the negative, but where are all those missing puzzle pieces in between? You need everything in order to,
Yeah.
keep growing and moving forward. And those are the pieces that are forgotten. So those are the things that I always tell my clients, take the time to actually sit with yourself and think about your story and think about where you want your story to continue.
Yeah. And not to forget one thing, embrace your story. So many
Yes.
of us will go in the victim mode. Look what happened to me. Look what happened to
Hmm.
me. I get it. I did it. Mi-
Yeah.
Not minimizing anything, but you don't have to. And I had this thought, and I think it applies to all of us. We're all warriors. When you think
Yes.
of some of the things that we've been through, you've shared your health journey. My gosh, like experimental drugs, things, this, all of that. You're a blanket warrior. Seriously.
Yeah. And so are you. And so is everyone else. Everyone has the warrior within them, but you got to remember life isn't just a battle. You kind of have to sit back and like be a spectator to some extent. And then you have to like put those new lenses on, get that new perspective and then rejoin.
Absolutely. Because everything connects. There's something
Ex-
there. I don't know
Exactly.
why.
Everything
I
connects.
see it like in neon lights. Everything connects. How do we connect with you? What's the best way? Somebody
Uh,
wants some insight, walk the journey with you.
you could set up a strategy call with me, which I always make complimentary on my website at donnadaytlc.com. You can shoot me an email at donnadaytlc@gmail.com. You can also give me a call or shoot me a text at 201-719-6991 or check me out on social media at donnadaytlc. So a lot of good stuff there.
A lot of good stuff here. Thank you for today. I believe if somebody has found this, seeing it, watching it, doesn't even have to be at the beginning of the year because podcasts live till further notice. There's a reason you probably found it because
Yeah.
you needed to. Let it grow. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon, okay?
All right. Have a wonderful day.
You too. We'll
Bye.
be right back.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.